So Asmongold, or as many people have called him before me, Asmongold, he's been taking some big, fat, juicy ass L's on the timeline on a regular basis here. I want to show you guys this one first. This is posted by Popstinix, I guess is how you pronounce that. And this is Asmongold admitting that even though he talks politics all the time, and he's got takes that go viral, he never actually reads anything or does any research before he talks about stuff. So take a look at this. Here we go.
You openly admitted you never do research or read articles outside of Twitter. How can you shamelessly tell others to read more? I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives. And incentives and human psychology are the deciding factors of how people will behave. I don't need to read your little special book or your Wikipedia article or anything else besides that. None of that stuff matters. What matters fundamentally is how do people act, how do people think, and how do people respond to incentives. If you can understand that, then nothing else matters. It's pretty simple.
That last part is my favorite. Pretty simple. I don't need to read. I don't need to learn. I don't need to research. I don't have to actually know what I'm talking about. I go based off of how I read people and stuff, bro. Pretty simple, bro. Oh my God. I'm going to reiterate this again. I know I say this every time we talk about Asmongold. I know I say this every time, but who the fuck watches this, bro? Who watches this? Why? What's the point? What are you getting out of it? I genuinely don't know. I have no idea. But look, you would have never heard me say homie's name if he didn't decide to break into the realm of politics. If he wanted to talk about fucking pop culture, entertainment, music, movies, whatever the fuck, he would have been on his merry way and I would have been on my merry way. The problem is he stepped into my territory where I happen to know the shit. And the funny thing is, he gets it exactly fucking backward. The most important thing in this space is to know what you're talking about, is to have the facts and the information. Ideology is even second to, at the very least, explaining things correctly, describing things that actually happen. So for example, Asmongold, the reason why it's important for you to read and research and know what you're talking about is that you, for example, are a Trump ball gargler. That's what you are. And you don't know, for example, that Donald Trump scammed his own supporters 2 days before his inauguration with a meme shitcoin. You don't know that Melania also had a shitcoin where they scammed their supporters. You don't know that Trump has a crypto exchange, World Liberty Financial, where 2/3 of the World Liberty tokens are bought by foreigners for corrupt pay-to-play reasons. You don't know that Trump pardoned a guy who laundered money for Al-Qaeda because that guy bought $100 million in World Liberty tokens. You don't know that because you don't read, you don't research, you don't get the facts. You just go out there and go based off vibes, go based off of how you read people or whatever the fuck. Last time he responded to me with something a few weeks ago or a month ago or something like that. And he was like, Kyle's not trustworthy because look at how he dresses. Are these the vibes you're talking about that you go off of? How you feel about people? So because I try to dress like I'm talking about serious issues, because I'm talking about serious issues, therefore, nobody should trust me. So if nobody should ever trust a person in a suit, then why the fuck do you trust Donald Trump? He's a guy in a suit. It's okay for him to wear it. It's not okay for me to wear it. Don't quite understand how you got to that conclusion. But again, if you actually learned about this shit, you would have different opinions. That's if you're honest. If you're not honest, you could just lie. But if you are honest, then as soon as you learned about Trump taking a $400 million plane from Qatar, you would have said, you know what, that's a problem. I don't like that. As soon as you learned that Trump is violating the emoluments clause and opening up resorts in fucking Vietnam and Oman and Qatar and all these places, you would have said, you know what, that's a little much. As soon as you learned Jared Kushner took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia and Trump has taken tens of millions or hundreds of millions from Saudi Arabia for the live golf events, you would have said, you know what, as soon as you realize he made over $1 billion just in his second term for 1 year, you would have maybe said something different. But this mindset that he just says he has here is exactly why we get clips like this. Remember this one? This is the first time he ever came across my radar. I don't know who the fuck he was until he talked about Israel and Gaza and said this. He said they're terrible people. And this is literally as he's arguing for the murder of innocent civilians. He goes, they're terrible people. Well, what makes somebody terrible? Oh, I don't know. Maybe if you like support the killing of innocent people. So like you yourself are fucking terrible. That's the point. This is incredible that he actually posted this. He actually said these words publicly.
They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills.
They come from an inferior culture, says the guy who literally had a cockroach crawl across his shirt when he was live on air one time. Says the guy who literally used a dead rat as an alarm clock. That's not me saying it. He said this on air. This guy says they're an inferior culture as he lives in his own fucking filth.
Inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity and it is directly...
You're literally arguing for killing them for their identity.
And it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
Literally over 90% of the people killed in Gaza were innocent civilians, and I believe the number is about 70% were women and children. And this is his reaction to that. So this is what you get when you don't read, you don't research, you don't care about specifics, you don't care about detail. Everything's gut, everything's intuition, everything's vibe. Everything is like understanding human psychology. By the way, he says that. He doesn't even have a degree in psychology. He says that like, I got this degree. You don't even have a degree in psychology. I originally majored in psychology, and then I switched to political science, but he's got no background in psychology. Somebody posted this the other day. Disinformation Tracker posted, in response to Asmongold celebrating the murder of a 37-year-old mother, he did that about Renee Good, I put together a 16-minute compilation of Asmongold being a psychopathic Nazi sadist. Here's what one of the largest streamers on Twitch and YouTube is saying to an audience of millions every day.
Because I know that the way that I look at things is insane to most other people. I'm fully aware of this. I know this. And my argumentation and the way that I see things is just totally wrong in the eyes of most people. And the reason why, and that's the big reason why I have problems dealing with like other people a lot, is because my solutions to problems are oftentimes so extreme and so immoral and, you know, like...
That is quite an admission. My solutions are so immoral.
That people, because I don't really see people as people in a lot of cases. I just see them as like an object or a functionary tool. And this has been a problem my whole life.
Okay, what he's describing here is being a psychopath or being a sociopath or both. That's what he's describing here. That's what this is.
And so basically... Like, I have a very different perspective on the way that I see things in the world. You think about killing random people? Yeah, all the time. Constantly. All the time. Yeah, if somebody makes me mad or something like that, yeah, of course. I could not drive down the road without thinking about every pedestrian and if I could run them over or not. For like 3 months. I was going in on this because I spent so much time around people over on Call of Duty. It's the call of the void. You're describing psychopathy? Well, either way, I don't let things like this affect me at all or bother me. And then he pops her off.
What the fuck?
He shoots her right here. Yeah, there it is. You see right there. Oh, wow. And then he shoots her. Gotcha, bitch. And then he shoots her a couple more times to finish her off. Absolutely rip fucking bozo. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go like after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more.
They have to crush the other side.
That's right. 100 fucking %. Destroy everything about them. Put the mayors in jail. Put the governors up on the Insurrection Act for sedition. Put all the people that were doing the shit in front of the detention centers. Put them in mandatory prison labor camps.
You know what's incredible to me? I never understood just how much, let's call it default fascism is out there. That all it took was one far-right sadist to get in power and to just like start harming all of these communities that oppose them, and just the default fascism where people just go like, yeah, make the people I don't like feel pain. Go after black people, go after brown people, go after immigrants, go after trans people. Yeah, do that. It's so crazy to me because, again, and I know I make this point all the time, but I do because it's important. That's the difference between us and them, is that, look, I hate these motherfuckers. I think they are vile, wretched cunts. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to see them. I don't want to be around them. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to have a good life. I want them to have high wages. I want them to have healthcare. I want them to have free college. I want them to get paid time off. Like, and maybe that makes me a softie. I don't know. But even though I hate these people and I want them to stay away from me, I want them to be fruitful and happy. Whereas the fascists, they look at us and they're like, no, I want you to experience pain and suffering. I get pleasure out of your pain. I want a 37-year-old mom to get shot in the face 3 times, then I'm going to character assassinate her after that. And that's the difference between us and them. And I don't know, how do you share a country with people like this? Because, like, what are they adding to it? And by the way, we can get into the conversation, too, about red states and blue states, and how the blue states end up working harder, paying all the taxes, and subsidizing the red states. And then what do the red states do in response? We get invaded by them. Trump says, hey, send me the military, send me the National Guard, send me ICE, send me all these different feds, and we're going to invade blue cities and terrorize these people. I mean this sincerely. What the fuck do we get from being in a union with these red states? What do we get? We get nothing. We carry the fucking tax burden. They just fucking abuse us over and over. They block us from ever doing anything good, like universal healthcare, for example. What is the point of being in a union with these people? I don't get it. I don't understand. And we know what they get out of it. They get the enjoyment of being sadistic and watching us get tortured by them. It's literally like an abusive relationship with half the country.
Authorize the police officers to respond with violence to them, bring in the military if you need to, look and find out who's funding this, take those people, charge them with incitement for terrorism.
Again, by the way, all these people claim they were pro-free speech, now totally anti-free speech. Totally, even protesting is treason, lock them up. Like, that's what he's saying here.
Them in Guantanamo Bay.
Oh.
Like, I'm talking about scorched earth, Old Testament, get them the fuck out. And by the way, my position is the moderate position. There are a lot of people in the
so moderate
in the audience that want to do way worse than that. A lot of people in the country that do. Yeah, 1 hour ago, 1,000 comments. Oh, people are crying about this. They're getting mad. Centrist, by the way, this is a centrist position. And you're going to cry about this. You're going to bitch about this. But you've got 3 more fucking years of it. And you know what else? Whenever the next election comes around, I and a lot of other people are going to vote for somebody who is even more extreme than Trump.
I mean, we don't even need to watch the rest of this. You can go watch the rest of it if you want. It's 16 minutes of this absolute psychopathic insanity. What do you even say to it? And by the way, Hassan was making the point that these guys were all enjoying all of Trump's warmongering, but apparently a lot of his audience, or maybe even most of his audience, are actually European and MAGA, and now all of a sudden they're horrified because Trump is trying to take Greenland, which is part of Denmark. And so Asmongold find himself in a weird position. Well, what the fuck do I do now? I'm a Trump meat rider, but now if I meat ride Trump, I'm also turning on my own audience who is more European and MAGA. They don't like this. What do I do? I don't know there, buddy. Perhaps you should have never gotten involved in politics since you yourself admit that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. One more time on this clip.
You openly admitted you never do research or read articles outside of Twitter. How can you shamelessly tell others to read more? I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human...
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Obviously, if you're talking about an issue, you need to know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the tax rates, you have to know what the tax rate is. You have to know the history of and what the tax rates were and what the impact was and what you were able to fund. And like, what? It's just like being proudly ignorant.
Article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives. And incentives and human psychology are the deciding factors of how people will behave. I don't need to read your little special book or your Wikipedia article or anything else besides that. None of that stuff matters. What matters fundamentally is how do people act, how do people think, and how do people respond to incentives. If you can understand that, then nothing else matters. It's pretty simple.
I can't get over the end. Little cherry on top. Like, this will shut him up. Pretty simple, bro. So, like, if you don't get it, you're being unreasonable. You don't understand why I don't have to read and research? That's a you problem, not a me problem. Oh, my God. What am I going to do with this shit, bro? What am I going to do with this shit? Ugh. Anyway, this is what's become of our political landscape. Now all the right-wingers have evolved out of the Steven Crowders and the Ben Shapiros, and they've landed on the hardcore Nazis like Nick Fuentes, and then the based guys like Asmongold, where it's just the lowest IQ Trump support you could ever imagine, where he literally admits he doesn't read or research or know anything, and he still wants you to listen to him talk. I mean, if that alone doesn't make you walk away from it, there's no hope for you. Do whatever you want. Just just learn how to tie your shoe, learn how to drive and obey the street lights and the road signs, because if you're watching this and nodding along in agreement, chances are you don't know how to tie your shoes or drive and listen to the street signs and the street lights, because there's nothing going on up here. That's for sure. All right, guys. That's the show, guys. Love you all very much. Everybody knows the drill. Everybody subscribe to the channel for me. You can also click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. You can also support the show on Patreon. That link is below. Remember, this is real independent media. Never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read. Very proud of that. You guys support this show from the ground up. You can also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And go subscribe to Corin's World on YouTube, because we do live Kyle and Corin episodes every Monday night. You can come hang out with us live. All right, y'all. I'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your day. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.